Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. Today we are going to be tuning into the energy of your person and seeing their deepest feelings for you. So what's going on in their head, their mind, and their heart for you? We're going to be getting into all of it. This is perfect for someone that you might be in separation with, an old relationship, situationship, twin flame, soulmate, or even a current active relationship, any kind of love relationship. This is perfect for that when you want some clarity on how they're feeling. And today we have a beautiful selection of desserts all topped with a juicy cherry for you guys to choose from. So if you've been to this channel before, you know the drill. You can just make up your mind, scroll down to those timestamps in the comments and the description, and jump right into your pile. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, I do pick a card readings, but I often use fake food items instead of cards to choose from. So you're going to see which of these desserts is really sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you've made up your mind, you can scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump into your pile. Just a little note, I always recommend you make up your mind not based on like what you would order in a restaurant or the one you think would taste the best, but the energy that's pulling you in and calling your name and drawing your eye towards it, just like other pick a card readings. So pile number one is going to be that beautiful panna cotta that's got the vanilla white base on the bottom and then the purple top. And then pile number two is the white cake with that dark red cherry on top. Pile three is the purple cake with the yellow cherry. And pile number four is going to be that ice cream ball with the bright red maraschino cherry on top. I do want to mention that I also have a Patreon. So if you like how I read tarot, if you think my readings resonate with you, that's where you can go to get access to more of my readings, over 65 additional readings, and you'll get access to all of them as soon as you sign up. So whether you're looking for a love reading, a career reading, money reading, relationship reading, relocation reading, whatever you want, you can probably find it over there. And you guys also suggest new topics over there, and then we vote on them. So it's very interactive, and if there's a reading you're like wanting, you can always go there to suggest them, and it's very much a lot of back and forth over there. So if you want to sign up for my Patreon, head to the link underneath the timestamps and the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one session with me and have me give you my undivided attention on whatever issue you want to talk about, then you can head to my website briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. You can ask me about pretty much whatever you want within reason, of course, but it's really your time to choose whatever you want to talk about and get clarity on. So if you would like that, go to my website briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you guys so much for watching. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. So let's start off with your oracle cards. You guys got Ride the Wave, Magical Map Shifter, and Balancing Act. So I feel like your person is very curious as to what you've been doing lately. We got Ride the Wave and Magical Map Shifter. So that can show a change or a shift in your identity, that maybe you've recently changed your fashion style or your vibe in some way, or maybe for some of you guys, you're not posting on social media at all anymore, but it almost feels like this person got their access revoked. That's what I'm seeing, is like this little stamp that's like access denied in my mind. So I feel like for some of them, they're feeling like they used to be able to predict you, or they used to be able to know what you were going to do next. You were more predictable and understandable for them and easier for them to access. And now it feels like you're kind of like this wild card, and they just don't know what to expect about you. I don't know if some of you guys, like I said, have made a change in your identity or way of presenting yourself to the world, or maybe you have shifted your job or moved across the country or done something really different. But I feel like this person is just like, what is pile number one doing? They have this intense curiosity, and I feel like they almost just want to sit down and like pick your brain or talk to you. But I'm not even getting like in a romantic way, not saying it's not romantic, and we'll get into their feelings later, but it's like I feel like there's this huge curiosity and there's this huge sense of what are they up to, what are they doing. And it's almost giving the vibes of like, you know, when you really like a celebrity or you watch a movie and there's like a really cute actor or something and you are curious about them, so you go online and you just Google everything about them, and you know, randomly will find out like, oh, so they have a little sister or something, and you just kind of satisfy your curiosity. Like, I almost feel like that's the vibe here, you know, where they're like, I just want to know. I just want to know what pile one is doing. I just don't understand why I don't get access to this, because I do feel like in a way this person always thought that they would be able to predict you. And I feel like you continue to surprise them at every turn, and you're not, in a way, some of you guys with this balancing act card, which is making me think of a Libra, maybe some of you guys in the past used to kind of appease them in some ways, even on a subconscious level, not necessarily directly, but you know, sometimes when someone has a twin flame connection, they're like, really deep down in their psyche, they're allowing that person to influence their decisions, right? Like maybe their friends invite them to go out and party and they're like, no, I don't want to. And deep down, it's because they're like, oh, my twin flame would be so mad if they saw me at this party surrounded by dudes, or someone asked them out on a date and maybe they do go on the date and things are going well, but then they have this thought of like, oh, I'm being disloyal to my twin flame or something. You know, that person pops into their head and they're like, you know what, I shouldn't do this. And they end up, even if it's super deep in their subconscious, sabotaging the relationship. They might not consciously be aware of this, but when this person is playing in the back of their mind and kind of like they feel that connection on the astral plane, they might do things to protect that connection or protect that other person's feelings, not even realizing that, you know, that's kind of dysfunctional. And I almost feel like you guys kind of snapped is what I'm hearing in my mind. I just heard she snapped. So I feel like for some of you guys, you're like, I'm not doing this Libra balancing act for your feelings anymore. I'm not going to try to appease you, try to keep things really calm, because, you know, Libra is where Mars is debilitated, because Libra doesn't like to fight. They're the peacemaker of the zodiac. They want everyone to get along. They want everyone to be peaceful. They're the diplomats. So they're very good at, you know, understanding both sides, talking to people, understanding someone's feelings. But when it comes to expressing anger or being like, no, I'm putting up this boundary and get away from me, they're not really good at that. That's why they oppose Aries on the astrological wheel. Aries is great at that. Aries is great at advocating for the self and telling someone no and starting a fight if they have to and saying their feelings. Libra is not good at that. And so that's the thing, is I feel like you've kind of moved from this energy where you were, you know, trying to appease. And like I said, when it's bringing to my mind Mars and Libra, where it's just very unhappy and it doesn't feel really comfortable there because it's not good at expressing that Mars energy. I feel like in the past, there were almost things that would bother you, or things that you were like, well, this is unfair. Or like, well, wait a minute. I just sabotaged this relationship with a dude from Tinder, and you're telling me you're getting really serious with this new girl you're dating. And it may have been, again, so deep in the subconscious or so deep in the back of your mind, but I feel like now you're like not doing that anymore. I feel like a lot of you guys are stepping into your own power, your own identity, and you're really shifting who you are and what you used to tolerate. And I feel like this person is like, whoa, what is going on? Like, this is not kind of what I signed up for. This is not what I expected. Like, in a way, I think they kind of thought you would be like waiting in the wings, or, you know, those stories you hear about, like in my best friend's wedding, how they're like, well, if we're not married at, I think it was like 28, right? Which seems, or 25, which seems really young, but I think it maybe was 28. If we're not married by that age, then we will meet up and we will get married. Like, I almost feel like this person thought there was something like that, where maybe, yeah, you guys had a falling out or you weren't talking, but at a certain point in the future, you guys were going to find each other again and things were going to be fine. And it was just going to magically happen, and just kind of magical map shifter, just magically the universe was going to align you guys to meet up again, or you would reach out to them or whatever, and you would be having waited for them the whole time. And it feels like you're like, no, I'm definitely not doing that. In fact, I am focusing on my life. I am enjoying my life. I'm living it up. I'm having a great time. And I feel like that kind of is a little bit of a shock to this person. They were not expecting that. Let me get some song cards for pile number 1. Can we get some songs? How is this person feeling towards pile 1? Wildflower. beach house. And, you know, that's bringing to my mind, you know, it could be any type of a flower. I love beach house, by the way. They're so amazing. If you haven't listened to their last album, Once Twice Melody, it's so good. Just look it up. Trust me, it's amazing. But with wildflower, you know, it could be any kind of flower, right? It could be like just a little domesticated rose or orchid or whatever, but it's a wildflower, one of those flowers that grows wild in the hills or in a meadow or in the woods. And it's kind of untamable. You know, you can't predict where wildflowers are going to pop up. And I feel like for you, there's this kind of wild, untamed quality. There's this, I just saw like a Mustang running free. There's this quality about you that is just very different. And it feels like you march to the beat of your own drum and you don't really fit into the same paradigm as a lot of people. And I feel like this on one hand intrigues this person. They are drawn in by that. They really like that about you. But then by the same token, there's a part of them that's kind of like, well, I don't know what to do with pile one. I don't know what to say. And maybe even when they think about the kind of partner they want, they don't want a wild person. They don't want a wildflower that's doing their own thing and willful. It's giving me the vibes of in Sex and the City, how that episode where Carrie runs into Big and he's at his engagement party with this, like, you know, and that girl was so beautiful who played that role. And that character was so unproblematic, like no hate towards her. She seemed super sweet, but it was almost like he wanted to get with like this younger girl who was easily controllable and very sweet and nice. But he was thinking about Carrie, right? And they meet up at the engagement party, or she runs into him leaving his engagement party, and he leaves his fiance to go talk to her. And then she says, whatever, and walks away from him. And then she says maybe, and they show the horse that was pulling like horse-drawn carriages in Central Park, and she says maybe some horses aren't meant to be domesticated, maybe some horses are meant to run free. And then it cuts to her walking away and her hair is wild, kind of like the horse. Anyway, that scene just popped fully into my head, like some horses are meant to run free. And I feel like for you guys, there's this vibe about you of like not settling or not being willing to tolerate the BS, not being willing to like put yourself on the back burner to appease this person in the way maybe they expected or they wanted or they, you know, expect from a partner. So if they are dating someone else, it may be that vibe where this person prioritizes them. This person is willing to do whatever they want to make the relationship work. And you just were like, no, I'm not doing that. I am looking after myself. I am independent. And I feel like they, yeah, were a little like shocked by that in a way. And it feels like you still are that way yourself. Like it feels like you've even leaned into that more, you know? If you were independent before, now you're like completely independent, doing your own thing. And I feel like this person just doesn't know what to expect of you. Doesn't know what you're going to do next, and they're super curious. Like I feel like they wish they could be in your like close friends Instagram, or you know, in the private group chat, or yeah, like it feels like they got access revoked or something. I keep seeing that in my mind. Let me get some more cards for pile number 1. I'm closing my eyes. So we got thinking of you, Frank Ocean. Okay, that's very obvious. They are definitely thinking of you. You are definitely on their mind. And again, I feel like this curiosity just adds to that because, you know, whenever you don't know about something, it just makes your imagination run wild. Like I feel like in a way, like social media has kind of ruined that, you know? Like someone was making a post actually on TikTok and they were like, remember how those little spaces that like are kind of like off limit spaces, but as a kid you were so curious about them? And that they were talking about, like, at least in America, there's a lot of restaurants that will have like a little room on the second floor, and it'll be like a little balcony or something with tables on it, and you can't access it. And it's just like a little decorative balcony. So there's nothing really there. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to describe. Or yeah, there'll be like a empty space at the top of, I think it was like Walgreens or something, you know, where it just has like the banner, but you start imagining what's in that room. I want to know, even though it's super boring and I'm sure it's nothing, but it just makes your curiosity run wild and you just want to know more about it. It's almost like you're convinced there's something hidden in that room, or there's something special in that room, just because you know it's off limits and you can tell that there's no like door to the balcony, or there's no ladder to the balcony, and that, they probably put up the table and chairs up there a decade ago and no one's accessed it since, and it's literally just for decoration, but we're somehow convinced like there's something on that balcony, I need to know. And I feel like the more you've kind of put boundaries up or just looked after yourself and been a little bit more selfish, the more this person's like spinning their wheels. Like at first I feel like they could kind of tolerate it. At first I feel like they were like, okay, whatever, they're not posting on Instagram anymore, they're not, yeah, so they're not texting me as much, or they're not showing what they're doing on Snapchat or whatever. But I feel like now they're like, oh my God, wait, so I really don't have access and you're really not even going to post? I can't even lurk on like a fake account. Or maybe, oh, they put their Instagram private and they thought that was going to be like a temporary thing. And now it's like, okay, their Instagram is actually private, like legit, long term. And I feel like for them, this has been a shock, because I feel like they really like to lurk back in the day, and they really like to kind of like see on the sidelines and not actually like contact you, but to kind of like know what you're up to. In a way, I also feel like this person is a little protective of you, and they also kind of worry about you and want to make sure you're safe. Or they kind of have, maybe at times they think about like, well, what if they get into trouble? Or if you have a new friend group you're posting with and they seem kind of wild, they're like, I don't think that person's good for them to be around. Or if you're traveling a lot, they're thinking about like, well, how are they staying safe while traveling? I don't know. There's some concern for some of you guys, or just like wanting to make sure everything's good. Again, that's kind of the weirdness that can happen with like twin flames, is like, you're like, why are you protective of this person? You're not dating them, but twin flames are like that. Let's get another card, another song. Emotion, Bee Gees. I actually feel that this person very much buries their emotions when it comes to you, or they did in the past. I feel like this person is kind of ashamed of how much they still think of you, and how much they can't, I'm hearing I can't quit you from like Brokeback Mountain, how much they still are tuned into you. And it's almost like a guilty pleasure. Like it's giving me that vibe of someone that would check someone's Instagram and then clear their browser history, or someone who would do it in an incognito private window so that it can't be seen by anyone else in their search history. So I feel like for them, they're very much kind of aware that this isn't functional, and that they don't really have a right, so to speak, to like stalk you or to know what you're up to. Like they know it's irrational, they know it's kind of crazy, they know that like technically speaking they have no claim to you, and that it's, no one would be like, well, bro, like, yeah, that makes sense, you should be outraged that she took her Instagram private. Yeah, like, come on. They know that if they tried to tell anyone like, yeah, I'm really mad she took her Instagram private, that they'd be like, you have no right to be mad, like, come on. So I feel like this person kind of internalizes it and keeps it inside, doesn't really talk to anyone. And I can say, as a water sun and moon grand water trine, that the more you try to keep your emotions inside, us Cancer moons know this, the more they leach out and become catastrophic. Kind of like a, trying to dam up a bunch of water behind something and having no little hole to pour it out, and then it just becomes explosive, and then the dam explodes and everyone's killed. Dam explosions are really deadly. So if you're a heavy water person, definitely find ways to healthily process your emotions. But I do feel like this person isn't processing their emotions, whether they're a water sign, whatever they are. Sometimes, air signs and stuff will have a really hard time accessing their emotions. We all have emotions. There's varying levels, but it's important for everyone to kind of like healthily release it. And I feel like this person does a lot of burying. They might even have some kind of hidden water in their chart, I'm getting. Like like they could be like an earth or an air, sun, moon, ascendant, all those placements, and they're the kind of person that prides themselves on like, yeah, I'm not super emotional, but then they have that hidden water Venus or water Mars, and they are highly emotional, but they bury it deep in their subconscious, and they try to pretend that, no, I don't care, I'm not that kind of person to get upset, I'm a Capricorn, I'm just very placid, you know what I mean? And deep down there's a lot of water. I wouldn't be surprised, because I feel like this person, they're so intent on kind of like, or at least they were in the past, on kind of like, no, I don't feel that way, it's not that deep, I don't care, I'm cool, I'm good. And meanwhile, it's like the emotions are just building, 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 kind of like a dam that's just getting more and more full. And the actual dam structure is straining to contain this, and the water level is just like rising and rising and rising, and sooner or later it's just gonna smash open. So I feel like for them, they've done a lot of that, like ignoring of their emotions in the past. With runaway, again, I wouldn't be surprised if that energy is you, or how they perceive you, as just like you always do your own thing, or you're super independent, or you, of course, you're traveling somewhere, or of course you just moved across the country, or of course you just went back to school. Yeah, because this is not the kind of person that wants to settle down. Pile number one, I'm about to shuffle these, is so reckless. Like, I feel like they would make kind of copes about that. Like, it's almost like it weirdly makes them angry. Maybe they feel like you ran away from them or something like this. But I do feel like sometimes your independence is something that they're like not a fan of, and it kind of irritates them. Like, I feel like in a way it's a vibe or a message of like, yeah, nothing's good enough for them. Yeah, of course they left. Of course they did that. And I feel like there's a lot of bitterness there. So it's almost like saying, well, they left me as well. They ran away from me. So of course they'd run away from a job, or an old city, or whatever, an old identity. Let me get into some tarot for pile number one. What can you tell me about pile one's person's feelings? So we got the High Priestess. You guys definitely have that connection on the astral plane, or you used to, because I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys have cut this person off, cut some cords with them, maybe literally done a cord cutting ritual, or just put up boundaries astral plane wise. And when you feel them start to tune into your energy or latch onto your energy, you're like, nope, cut off. I don't know, but I feel like they are just very curious and almost like restless. Like, what is pile one doing? What is pile one up to? I gotta know. And maybe because you used to have a super strong connection on the astral plane, maybe because they used to be able to tune into you at will, like twin flames can do, or soulmates or past life connections can do. And by the way, I do believe you can get multiple soulmates. So don't feel like, well, that was my dang soulmate and wow, that stinks. No, you can get multiple. We have multiple lifetimes. We can have multiple past life connections and whatnot. So don't have a scarcity mindset about it. But it can be really powerful when you encounter this kind of a person, maybe that you've known in a past life, or you just have that instant connection with. And for them, I feel like if they used to have access, that might have been something they really enjoyed. It might have been something that really meant a lot to them to be able to tune into, and just, at the end of the day, if they had a hard day, if they had a rough day, if they were like really feeling bad, maybe they would tune into you and start talking to you. And maybe they kind of got used to that, of like, well, yeah, I've been really stressed, but at least I can, talk to pile one as I'm going to sleep tonight, and I can listen to them, or tune into them while I'm listening to songs on the radio, and I'll turn on some old love songs or something that bring them to mind. A lot of people do that unconsciously, not even knowing that that's what they're doing. They're accessing this connection. They just get flooded with thoughts of the person. And I feel like for some of you guys, you used to like tolerate that. You used to go back and forth with that. You'd be like, okay, cool. At least I'm hearing from this person. And now you're like, bye, don't contact me again. It's bringing to my mind the TikTok sound of like, Samantha from Sex in the City. So I don't know if some of you guys are Sex in the City fans, or why so much Sex in the City keeps coming through, but how the noise of Samantha's character like answering the phone, and she's like, hello, and then the guy's like, it's over, I just told my wife, and she's like, who is this? I feel like for some of you guys, like, that's your vibe. Like, it's like this person's like, wait a minute, I keep trying to access you, I keep trying to call you, and you're not picking up the phone, and now you're acting brand new, and you're acting like you're just dating around, and you don't even remember me. And I feel like that has really hit this person's ego as well. Like, they always thought they were gonna be able to kind of call you up astral plane wise, access you, get a hold of you, that no matter what, at the end of the day, you'd be kind of waiting there in the wings for them. And now you're like, oh no, I'm so sorry you thought that. That's delusional. I'm doing me, I'm moving on, I'm living my best life. God bless and good luck. Bye. Like, I feel like there's just such an independent vibe. Okay, let's get some more cards for pile number 1, 8 of Wands. This person may have an intention to reach out to you soon with the 8 of Wands coming through. They might genuinely kind of have to fight off that feeling of, I really want to reach out. I really want to say something to pile number 1. 8 of Wands can also talk about rapid change, things happening and developing really quickly. So again, that could also just be your energy, that they just see you as very unpredictable. They just see you as rapidly changing and going through new personas, new identities, moving new places, that you're just very in action. You know, kind of like those people that they'll say, oh, they never sit still. Like, I know for me with my mom, she has Mars in the first house, and we would always be like, Mom, sit down and watch a movie with us. And she literally hates watching movies, or I don't know, at least with us, the kind of movies we would watch. So she'd always be like, okay, I'll sit down. And then 10 minutes later, she'd be up, like, doing the laundry, or, you know, cooking something in the kitchen, or just making a phone call, or writing something down. And we'd be like, Mom, although now I'm that way as an adult, so I can't be mad about it. But you know, that kind of energy of like, I don't want to sit still. I just want to keep going and blah, blah, blah. I almost feel like that could be your energy. Like, you just feel like you're new now, next, doing new things, going new places. Um, it feels like you're hard to tie down, and I feel like that's what makes this person so curious about you, is like, they don't know what to expect. They don't know where you're going, what you're going to be up to. They're really, really curious and trying to figure you out. And it has really piqued their curiosity. And I feel like, in a way, that vibe about you, even though you're stepping into that energy more and more lately, but it was always what attracted them to you. The fact that you seem independent, you don't seem like the type to settle or to sacrifice yourself for a relationship. You seem like that kind of the one that got away. You know, when you think about like, well, why do so many people obsess over the one that got away? It's because, you know, there's an independence and there's a dignity too in being like, I'm not tolerating this. That's attractive. We want a partner who's dignified, who has self-worth, who, you know, has independence. We don't necessarily, I mean, even though we want someone to like really love us, but we respect the heck out of people who are like a renegade. You know, Taylor Swift has that song Renegade about her ex-boyfriend, you know, which is like a complimentary song, is like, you've been this renegade and you haven't just settled down for anyone. And I feel like that was one of the things that attracted her to him, was this vibe she got from him of like, he just does his own thing. He is a Pisces. Pisces love to swim around and make their own path. They're very independent minded, ruled by Jupiter, just like Sag, another highly independent sign. So she liked that about him. She liked the fact that he was kind of like a rolling stone, like never, because that phrase comes from a rolling stone gathers no moss. So basically, the more you move around, the less, I don't know, kind of accumulated trauma and sadness you can get. How true that is, I don't know. But the point is, someone who's constantly moving and just going new places and doesn't sit still, I feel like that's the vibe. And this person does respect it. I feel like they do have so many fond memories for you as well. We got the 6 of Cups. So 6 of Cups shows someone perusing through their memories, looking back in a really positive, sweet way, looking back at it and looking back fondly and with positive memories and with a real sense of love and kind of gratefulness for the experience. So 6 of Cups is very much memories, and this person may be going through their memories when it comes to you. So we also got the Knight of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. With that, this person may perceive you as being financially successful yourself, or they also might be very highly focused on their own financial situation, trying to build, trying to make more money, trying to it might even be a situation where they're just distracted on the day to day. Like, maybe they think about reaching out to you, or maybe they think about like moving to the city you live in and running into you at the coffee shop, but they are very tied into a day to day 9 to 5 existence. And that might be something that somehow influences this relationship. Or even if you have like an unconventional lifestyle, like maybe you have a job that you don't have to do a 9 to 5. So when you do post from social media, you're posting on your Instagram stories from a coffee shop at like, you know, in the middle of the day, or at the beach in the middle of the day. And this person's just like, what is their routine? And that's really cool, because maybe for them, they're locked into a very traditional schedule and they see you as someone that has more freedom in some way. Because I feel like that's the overall vibe, is you just seem very free, and you just seem very footloose and fancy free. You just seem very open to the world in a way that this person doesn't. And I feel like they're just very intrigued by that. So I think that's what I have for you. Pile one, let me know if it resonated. I love to hear from you guys. So let me know your thoughts, whether you think this is accurate to this person's feelings or it was wrong. Let me know. I'm always curious. Also, make sure to give this reading a like, hit the thumbs up button, and make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my readings, head to my Patreon, where you will get access to over 65 additional readings as soon as you sign up. I just posted one all about your shadow side and how to alchemize it. So a really good one for self-growth, but there are readings about love, relationships, career, money, spirituality, relocation, every topic under the sun we try to get to, and you guys suggest new topics and we vote on them. So it's super interactive. If you want to sign up, head to the link in underneath the timestamps in my description and in the comments as well. Also, if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you get to choose what you ask about, what kind of subject you want me to tune into. Pretty much all subjects are allowed within reason, of course, but yeah, it's your time to use how you want. So if you'd like to get that, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So let's start with your oracle cards. You guys got Wizard of Awareness, One Ring Circus, and the Strength card. So I feel like your person, first of all, is very much in awe of you. I don't know if some of you guys have gone through a hard time recently, but there's a vibe of you being very stoic, or this person really respecting how you carry yourself and being kind of in awe and shock about, like, I can't believe they managed this so well. I can't believe they handled themselves. I can't believe they got through this. There's also a little bit of concern and protectiveness coming through. So it does feel like they want to look after you, but it also feels like a lot of you guys are very independent. We got the Strength card. So I feel like at the end of the day, they do respect how you've handled yourself in this, and they do see you as a very powerful, strong person who has had to deal with a lot. I don't know what you've had to deal with lately, but it just feels like they're kind of sitting back and being like, wow, okay, dang, this person handled it. And I feel like in a way, they wish they could come help you. I just got the vibe that maybe some of you guys, I got the download that maybe some of you guys aren't actually posting about this on your social media or telling them directly, or they're not actually finding this out in the physical plane, but they may be aware of this on the astral plane. If you have been feeling depressed lately or going through it, maybe they are just aware of it on the astral plane, and they have been hearing that. They have been noticing that your energy just feels down or a little sad. But there's some kind of a message of them being protective of you, and also just being like, wow, Pile 2 has gone through so much. They're still so strong-minded. They're still so powerful, and just kind of having this massive amount of respect for you, and almost like they wish that the world could see you the way they see you. Because I feel like, I don't know, there's some message with some of you guys going through hardship, or people treating you bad, or people being cruel to you. And I do feel like this bothers your person. I feel like they can't stand the idea of anyone being nasty or anyone not seeing you as perfect. So for them, that has been hard. They don't like having to kind of stand back and let things just take place. Like, I feel like if they could, they would come in and give you this massive hug and just smooth over everything. But I feel like, obviously, I don't know, they feel like they can't do that. Or if you guys aren't together in this physical world, then it would be kind of weird if they texted you and they were like, hey, I know you're going through a lot, and you're like, I haven't talked to you in a while, in years, or I never posted about this. What are you talking about? How do you know? And so I feel like they kind of hold back, but there is this kind of sadness. For some of them, it may even be a sadness about their own actions, or feeling like they've hurt you, and them being sad or remorseful for it, and them kind of having time to process and being like, wow, Pile 2, the way you've handled yourself is just so amazing and outstanding. And I wish I could have stepped up better. There is this kind of like, I want to say regret or fear or sadness about you and about the things you've had to deal with. And for those who where this action has come from them, it's kind of a complicated reading, but I do feel like this person is apologetic and they're kind of wanting you to know that maybe some of it comes from their own trauma. It could even be past life wounds. It's always interesting to do a synastry chart with you and your person to see what aspects you have, and always to see what's aspecting the south node. If you suspect a past life connection, if you had some of those past life indications, like when you first met them, you already felt like you knew them, you just felt super drawn to them, those past life feelings, that can be something where you could look up your south node in your astrology chart and see what's aspecting that. And sometimes there's just karma left over, especially Mars, Pluto, Saturn can be indicators of past karma. So it could be showing someone who was really cruel or nasty to the other person in a past life, and sometimes there's like the need to repay that karma even if it was in a past lifetime. So sometimes we can act out of these unconscious urges and we don't even realize why we're doing it. So it could be that person that sabotages the relationship or is really mean to someone, and it's like, what is your deal? Why are you doing this? And it could be because of something that happened in like 1508. You know what I mean? When you guys were like medieval peasants living in the south of England or something, you know? And now, of course, that's not on your mind, but your higher selves are like, oh, okay, so this is handling that fight that we had back in 1508. I don't know, and obviously it's a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest, but I feel like this person is coming through with just like, I want pile 2 to be okay. I am sorry, and I do regret any of my part in things, and also being sad because maybe other people have treated you badly as well, and it's not something they're a fan of. Like, I feel like if they could sweep in and kind of like kiss, I just heard like kiss and make it better, or you know, kind of like how a little kid will scrape their knee and their mom will like bandage it back up, pour on iodine or whatever, and then kiss it and be like all better, you know. And I feel like that's what this person wishes they could do to you. Like, I feel like they're, if you have been going through a really hard time lately, they are aware of it and they are very sad about that, you know. And I feel like just know that I do feel like there have been nights when this person has like picked up their phone, wanted to text you, wanted to reach out, really wanted to like pour out their heart out and tell you everything. And then I feel like they're like, I will look like a lunatic. I will look literally insane. I'll probably have the police show up at my door if I text this person. All of this nonsense that I'm thinking in my mind, they might literally even think that they're crazy. You know, a lot of people who aren't into this spiritual world, they don't know about twin flames. They don't know about soulmates. So they might think I'm insane. I'm like this stalker. I can't stop thinking of my ex-girlfriend. This is so bizarre. Like, I'm going to have a restraining order put out on me if I act on this, you know? She probably doesn't care about me at all, and I cannot stop thinking about this person. And so sometimes when someone is just very unspiritually tuned in, they might think that, you know, they're acting crazy or that it's very one-sided. They might not understand the concept of a twin flame or a soulmate connection and how intense and powerful it can be. So I feel like this person definitely does want to reach out, but then they're also like, that is so not my place. And maybe even pile number 2 would be angry with me if I did reach out to them, or might be upset with me, might be upset to hear from me, or might be like, what are you doing? My life is fine. What are you talking about? What is this weird text? So I feel like they kind of edit and hold themselves back. Let's get into some of the song cards for pile number 2. So we got Endgame, Taylor Swift. Okay. Let's see what song cards we're going to get. I'm not looking. This one says Moi Je Joue, Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte. Okay, let's get some more cards. Selfish, Britney Spears. Okay. What is this person feeling towards pile number 2? Oh, this is not a song. This is this is a super long like characteristic description that somehow snuck in there. But maybe I should read that as well. Call It What You Want, Taylor Swift. And let's get one more. Ivy, Taylor Swift. Okay, cool. And I'm going to add that back in just because that was weird that that even came out from a different part of the country or world. So we'll see how that comes through. But possibly with this selfish card, Britney Spears, maybe they felt like they were the ones who was selfish in the past. Like, I don't feel like that's necessarily directed at you, because this person's coming through with a very apologetic energy. They're coming through like, I wish it could have been better. I wish I could have done more. And they are mentioning now in my mind the like childhood stuff, like family stuff. I don't know if this person comes from like a divorced household. And of course, you can be totally awesome and coming from divorced households. I mean, I come from a divorced household and I'm freaking amazingly awesome. So obviously, exhibit A. No, but I'm joking. But, you know, not to stigmatize being a child of divorce, but of course, it can be traumatic and it can be intense. And depending on the type of divorce that your parents have, I don't think all divorces are as traumatic on kids as sometimes people make it out. Like, your parents fighting can be just as traumatic, let's be real. But I think that, or maybe way more. So sometimes that can be a relief. But, you know, and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be a divorce. They can be a family that has been together for 20 years and they look super perfect on the outside and everyone's like, oh my God, what a perfect couple. And they have little kids and they have a golden retriever, but they're fighting all the time and it's traumatic for the children to witness. So I feel like this person, I don't know, maybe they could have some kind of trauma with that, relationship issues. They might even have attachment issues, you know, anxious attachment or avoidant attachment or anything like that. But I feel like this person is kind of like saying, it's not you, it's me. Like, genuinely, I'm kind of like messed up and I'm working on myself, but at the same time I am selfish and I'm in a selfish energy right now, or I was in a selfish energy. And I also feel like this person might not even know how to come back to apologize. Like, I feel like they wouldn't even know what words to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like so much has been done. Like, how do you apologize for that? I know for me, like what it's bringing to my mind is like how, you know, how sometimes someone will text you or send you an email or something and it's super nice and you're like, oh, I'm in a really bad mood right now, or I'm really stressed, or I'm super tired about to go to bed. I'll respond in the morning, or I'll respond in a few hours or in the day. And you have every intention of responding, but then of course you kind of forget about it and it's already been opened, so it's not showing as like one new message, so you kind of don't see it. And then, you know, you like a week or two later or a month later, you are going through your messages and you're like, oh my God, this person texted me, what am I supposed to say back to them? It's gonna be so like janky if I text them back and say like, oh, sorry, hey, just responding now, because we all hate when that happens. So maybe we put it off again and then it's been like 6 months and then we're like, I'm gonna look like the biggest weirdo if I message them. So I feel like with this person, they're kind of like, how do I even approach pile two? How do I say anything? I also get the vibe that for some of them, they wouldn't mind being friends with you at this point. Like, I feel like they just kind of want your presence in their life, you know? They kind of get a kick out of you. Like, I feel like they think of you as someone who's like fun and exciting and a really good person. That's what they're acknowledging, is you were always a really good person. You were always really kind, really nice to them, really selfless. And so I feel like for them, you know, maybe it took a while for them to kind of admit like, no, I messed this up. It was me. I maybe I tried to blame pile two at first, but you know what? This was my fault. But I feel like for them, it's hard to know, like, how do I go about this? And I feel like they also may have commitment issues or anxiety around relationships. And so it was something where maybe they weren't even excited to feel this deeply about you. With this Ivy song, which I love, maybe my favorite Taylor song. But when she says, your ivy grows and now I'm covered in you, it kind of brings to my mind like ivy is technically an invasive vine, I believe. Although I think since it's native to Northern Europe, it's not as invasive in Europe. And then that song seems very like British European vibes. But in the US, it's an invasive species, not native. And Taylor's from the US. So we're going to interpret it with that lens, where, you know, ivy is not something you actually want to have growing, I believe, over your house. Or, you know, as pretty as it may look, as beautiful as it is, you can see sometimes people don't prune the ivy and they don't really take care of it. And it will like completely overtake a house and form like this mat over the house, like a thick foot thick layer that obviously is going to choke out the life of the building and the building materials, right? So like, all building materials kind of need to have like ventilation and they need to have some airflow coming in, and they don't want to just be under this deep layer of ivy growth. And trees and leaves and whatnot. So for even though it may look beautiful, it's something you're not really looking to have happen. And if you maybe are really wanting to keep your house clean and you start seeing that ivy snake over it, you might start freaking out and panicking because you're like, wait, I did not sign up for this. This horrible invasive species has now attacked my home. And yeah, maybe some people think it's pretty, but I'm not looking for this. And I almost feel like this person has that vibe towards relationships with you, where like they were like, okay, I feel really strongly about pile two, but I'm not wanting this. I don't want a relationship. I'm not looking for that. And yes, they're beautiful and they're gorgeous, and other people would be super thrilled to have this person around them. But at the same time, like, I did not sign up for this. This is not what I want. I'm trying to do me. And so, yeah, I feel like in a way, this person might have sabotaged or might have just not felt ready for it, and might have looked at it as a negative at the time, or kind of just set off some panic. A lot of times when someone has like attachment issues, it just registers to them as panic. It's not necessarily a conscious thought. It's just like, oh my God, they're trying to lock me down forever if they have avoidant attachment, or if they have anxious attachment. Oh my God, they're about to leave. And it's not a conscious thing of like, oh, I'm going to panic and I'm going to call their mom sobbing and I'm going to say that they're the love of my life and they need to like sign a blood oath for me. And they don't realize that that's going to scare the person off because they're so deep in the panic. Or if they have avoidant attachment, I'm just going to randomly ghost this person because I'm having my freedom taken away. And the other person's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not trying to take your freedom away. So yeah, I think for them, a lot of it was maybe just unconscious trauma response and past memories of even from past lifetimes or whatnot, that kind of made this person act this way. Let's get into some tarot as well for pile number 2. Pile number 2. What can you tell me for pile 2? The World. So that's really interesting because we also got Endgame, and Endgame to me brings to mind some completion, like an end goal you have, like this is what I am working on long term, like maybe this is what I'm doing right now, but long term that's what I'm going after. And the World card is kind of a similar vibe. It's an energy of completion, and also interesting, we got from a different part of this country or world. So if you have a different cultural background than this person, or even a different ethnic background, this could just be extra confirmation. Or if they're different culturally to you somehow, like maybe you're not even different ethnicities, but your family is super buttoned up. You're both British, but your family's super buttoned up and like reserved and kind of like that English stiff upper lip, and they're kind of like English expressive, loud, you know what I mean? But it could just be a major difference between you guys in like how you operate, or your family type, or your background, or whatever. So take that how it resonates for you, but there could be that could be another reason why you guys didn't get along. Sometimes I think those differences are harder to overcome than we realize. Like on 90 Day Fiance, that show is such a train wreck. I can't even watch because I usually just feel really bad for the girls on that show because the guys are so freaking creepy. The guys from the US who are going to other countries, like oh my God, every time they are just so creepy to these women. But I will say that, I think in general, it can be hard sometimes. We think, well, people are people, and they are, but also, in certain places or in every place, there's unspoken rules that seep down deep into our consciousness, these kind of unspoken ideas of how relationships work, or what's polite or what's impolite, or what is the process of dating, or what we can expect, or how you show love. And it can be kind of, even if it's like a small thing, even if it's like a tiny personality difference, like technically, actually, it's funny, England came to mind because England and America are technically two countries that speak the exact same language, yet they're very, very different. There's so many personality differences. And I think sometimes it can wear on you more than you expect. Just like maybe, in America, we tend to show enthusiasm really, really strongly. And that's not considered bad or cringe. It's actually considered a good thing to be like, yay, woo. And then that's kind of, I think, considered a little cringe in England. It's considered better to be kind of like reserved and be like, oh, that's really nice. Okay, cool. And like be kind of stiff upper lip and kind of above it all. And so, if you're an American and you just love to like get super excited and cheer for like football, and I mean American football, and you're having an English partner and they're just like, what is this person doing? Why are they wearing like a hat and screaming and getting all excited, and they're super loud? You know what I mean? Small things can become blown up, or things that should be small can really affect things. So this might be another indicator that like maybe for some of you guys, even if it's within the same country, there can be different personality clashes. There can be different you know, characteristics you have, or family characteristics, or cultural characteristics that sometimes can play more of a role in these things than we're willing to acknowledge, or than we would hope at the beginning of the relationship. Because it's almost like the energy is there, the love is there, but when it comes to expressing it, you know, then these cultural rules can come into play, and these cultural ideas of relationships or norms or whatever. So yeah, but I also feel like this person also may have considered you as like their long-term partner. Like maybe they thought they could go off, be a little selfish for a while, do their own thing, you know, live their life, and then they could come back to you one day and it would be the end game. It would be the long-term thing. Like kind of like, okay, I have to do this. I'm running from this relationship, but we're going to get back together, right? Like I know I'm being a little dysfunctional right now, and maybe I'm sabotaging things, but I know you're going to forgive me and we'll be good. Okay, so I'll see you later. And you were like, no, sir, bye. Like, don't call me again. I'm not picking up the phone. You sabotage things on purpose. You ended the relationship. See ya. And I feel like this person was kind of a little shocked by that, or a little taken aback, definitely not expecting it. Let's get some more cards for pile number 2. Pile number 2, you want to know how the person is feeling. Oh my God, double strength card. Wow, that's really crazy. So they may also just respect that inner strength you have, because I feel like in a way, like I said, there's things that could have brought someone else down and really taken them out, or things that other people would never have been able to deal with in the way you dealt with it, with so much grace and presence and strength. And so I feel like for them, again, they're a little bit in awe of you. They have a lot of respect for you. It also might have to do with your physical form. They might just be checking out your body and liking what they're seeing, especially if you, I don't know, have been going to the gym or building muscle or something. But it doesn't have to be that. It could also just be your straight up physicality, how you look, whatever it is. I feel like they probably do like it. But also it's like you are a powerhouse, and that might also influence their ability to step to you and like admit their wrongs, or come back and be like pouring out their feelings. Because if they see you as this super strong-minded, super powerful powerhouse, it's like hard to approach someone like that at times. You know, think about approaching some random nobody versus like, I don't know, a really famous person. Cristiano Ronaldo, for some reason, is coming into my mind, of all people, speaking of football. But yeah, I feel like for you guys, sometimes that can work against us when people think, oh, this person's got it handled, they're super competent, they'll be fine. It's almost like sometimes too, someone could break up with someone because they think that, because they're like, no, they'll be good. Like they don't even care that much. I'm sure they're so independent. They're so independent minded. They're probably not even thinking of me, you know? And they might not even realize that, like, just because someone's independent doesn't mean they don't have those feelings. It doesn't mean it's not really hard on them. So I feel like this person does have a massive amount of respect for how you carry yourself, how you handle yourself. If this person's still in this energy, they may just be trying to like sow their wild oats and do their own thing for a while, but they do have that intention of coming back to you long term. But I feel like they're like, pile 2 is kind of my rock. I know I can depend on pile 2. I know pile 2 will be there, which I know some of y'all are going to be like, excuse me, I will not be there for you, crazy person. You left me or whatever. But I feel like they do feel like they can kind of rely on you, and they might not. They might even be like just contrasting their energy to your energy, being like, pile 2 is so stoic, pile 2 is so reliable, pile 2 has got their life managed and handled, and I'm a mess in comparison, and I know I'm a mess, I'm trying to fix it, but that's what's going on. I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm not sabotaging things on purpose, but I'm in a mess energy. I'm scattered all over the place, you know? And it's funny, we were talking about Ivy because she wrote that song, I think, inspired by her ex-boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, who's a Pisces, and then Taylor's a Sag, and both of those are ruled by Jupiter, and both of them like to like search out their own identity, do their own thing, and they can be kind of independent to a fault. I mean, there's something wrong with being independent, but sometimes people can be like, wait a minute, Pisces, I thought you guys wanted a relationship, or Sag, you're traveling somewhere new. You know, it can be that like willful, I'm just going to do my own thing energy. I'm swimming where I want to go. I'm the archer shooting an arrow into this new destination. And sometimes people can be like, you know, taking that personally, upset about it, when the person maybe is just like, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep swimming, I gotta keep, obviously talking about the Pisces archetype, I gotta keep being the archer and moving on to something new, some new goal. So again, there's almost this message from this person about like, I hope you don't take it personal, which I know sometimes you're like, excuse me, of course I'm gonna take it personal, like what kind of logic is this? But I just feel like that's what this person's thinking. They definitely probably want to reach out to you, but that Ace of Swords did come out reversed technically, so I don't know if they're going to reach out, because I feel like for them, they're kind of unsure what to say. And we got the Six of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. With the Six of Pentacles, they could definitely be comparing you, and they could be kind of like, oh, pile two is so much more ahead of me, which is what I've been getting. Like, I feel like in a way, it's nice that they put you on a pedestal, right? Like, it's nice that they acknowledge your strength and how you carry yourself and how amazing you are. But sometimes that can work against you, because it can make the person be like, oh, they're perfect. They got this handled. I can do whatever to them, you know, like they're good, it's fine, they're not even crying, they're going to be flourishing, and they don't even realize that they did hurt you deeply. They don't realize that your feelings do run that deep. And with the Six of Pentacles, they might worry too about you just being better than them. They might worry about you having a better career than them, being further along in life, just being more responsible in general with that pentacle energy. So there could be a lot of kind of, that could be a reason why this person isn't stepping forward, is just this idea that you are going to like way outpace them, or you're just doing so much better than them. You would have no place for them in your life somehow. But I do feel like they do want to have a connection with you. They do want to reach out with that Ace of Swords. There is this like desire to talk to you, because I feel like your conversations were so on point. Like when y'all would talk, it was just like amazing banter, like a mile a minute, and just great conversations all the time. So I feel like they kind of want to reach out to you just to like see what you have to say, because I'm also hearing a lot of you guys in this pile are quite funny or entertaining. You're a great conversationalist. So I do feel like this person really misses that aspect of getting to talk to you about that, and just getting to check in with you. I think it meant a lot to this person. So they do miss you, but it also feels like they're on their own tip. They're doing their own thing. They're trying to figure their life out as well. So yeah, I think that's what I have for you guys. Pile two, this was kind of complicated and intense, so I hope it resonated. Let me know if it did. If you feel like this is this person's energy accurately and they are kind of trying to figure their life out, or if you're like, no, I don't think that. Either way, let me know. I would love to hear what this person is up to. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate, and make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my content, head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your shadow side and how to alchemize it. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings about love, relationships, career, money, spirituality, relocation. So many different topics to choose from, and new ones go up all the time. You guys vote on them over there and suggest new topics, so it's very interactive. So if you'd like to sign up for Patreon, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. You can ask me basically whatever you want within reason. Some topics maybe not allowed, but the vast majority are. And it's really your time to use whatever you want to use for whatever you want, and to ask me about whatever you want. So if you would like to get a reading with me, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description as well. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. So take care, guys. Bye. Hey pile three, welcome to your reading. So let's start out with your oracle cards. You guys got Metamorphosis, Ride the Wave, and Come Together. So right as I was tuning into this reading, I got a super strong sense of just love coming through, missing you coming through. And when we pulled the Come Together card, which is probably the most powerful love card in this deck, I wasn't even surprised because I do feel like this person misses you a whole lot, wants to be back around you. And what's coming through is just a deep sense of love and gratefulness for you. For some of you guys, I could even see you still being with this person or being in an active relationship with them, because it doesn't feel like this person has any animosity towards you or anger. It feels like deep down they have this abiding, long-term, very solid love for you and concern for you and just appreciation for you is what's coming through. But for those of you guys who are in separation, I feel like this person is just wanting to know how to reach out. I feel like this person is very much thinking of you and considering you, and they might have even made serious life changes for the purpose of trying to get back together with you with this Metamorphosis card. They might be coming through to just say, you know, I have worked on myself, I have changed, I have done the work, I have adjusted myself. If there were issues you brought up in the relationship, they might have worked to improve on those. They might have tried to fix things you were irritated about. Even if you weren't in a relationship with this person, maybe you were just chatting with them, talking to them, and maybe you would tease them about something small like, oh my God, your mustache is like spotty or something. And maybe they went home, and I know this is random, but I'm just popped into my mind, and bought like research, how do you grow a stronger mustache, and then tried to like improve their mustache quality somehow, or maybe they just shaved the whole thing off. But I feel like it's almost like small things you would say to them make such an impact on them. Small details. Even I'm hearing small things about you, like your gestures, the way you would move, everything about you. I feel like this person kind of memorizes. Like you're very special to them, and I wouldn't be surprised if this person had a little list of like your likes and dislikes or small things you said. Like maybe, you're listening to music or something, and some random musical act comes on and you're like, oh, I hate them. Like, oh, I hate this band. They're so awful. And maybe they can never listen to that band ever again because you're in their head being like, oh, they're so lame. And maybe you didn't mean anything by it and you weren't trying to like make a lifelong impression. But I feel like even small comments you would make, even small details or issues, just leave a lasting impact on this person because they hold you in such high regard. They definitely think of you as stunningly beautiful, super attractive, and I feel like they think about you a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if this person like fantasizes about you and just dreams about you. But I feel like there's also this sense of like possibly not being good enough for some of them for you, like feeling like they don't deserve you, or feeling like they can never quite measure up, and almost like a fear that you might move on or find someone else. Again, I really could see a lot of people in this card pull being with this person, like being in an active relationship. So it's kind of funny because I'm like describing it, and then in my mind I'm like, but I still feel like some of these people are together. Like it doesn't feel like it's a breakup. But I know we get a mix. Sometimes some people, the smaller percentage, are in a relationship with the person and they just want to tune in and see how they're feeling, and then others the majority are like in separation and that's why they're watching them. So I'm gonna read for that. I'll try to acknowledge both sides. It is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. But I do feel like if you guys have broken up, that this person may have a fear of you getting with someone new and starting a new relationship, being with someone, falling in love. Like that would just drive this person crazy, especially because I feel like they kind of measure themselves, compare themselves to you. And they may do that with anyone you're dating or anyone you're even just seen with. Like if you are hanging out with someone and you tag them on your Instagram, this person would definitely stalk their page and definitely scroll down to like as far as they possibly could and check their cousins' best friends, dogs, photos. Like they are definitely searching out and kind of snooping as to like who else are they hanging out with, because I do feel like this person has a fear. I just heard the fear like, I'm afraid they're gonna wake up and realize I'm a loser, or I'm afraid they're gonna wake up somehow. And by that I think this person means just be aware of how much better they are than me. It's like this person puts you up on a pedestal and sees you as amazing. It's kind of even bringing to my mind, like in this Ride the Wave card, you can see there's like a woman. I couldn't make it out, but I was like, let me look at that card because I feel like there's something about that card. And you can see there's a woman, I guess, riding on top of this dolphin. I don't know if you can see, but anyway, that's what's happening on this card. And I feel like kind of like how the woman is up, being lifted up by the dolphin, and she's in this really regal position riding on top of the waves. Like I feel like that's how they see you, as like this mystical, beautiful, the way you would put a beautiful vase on like a high shelf so everyone can see it and people can't access it and people can't like randomly touch it and break it. That's what this person would do for you. They just see you as so amazing and so beautiful. And if you're not actively involved with them in your life at the current moment, they definitely miss you. And I feel like they definitely would check your page like multiple times a day or try to see what you're posting about. They also love your gentle energy. There's something that's quite gentle about your energy that I feel like this person is just so drawn to. And it's almost like I'm hearing you didn't fight for them or something like that. Like it feels like there was something about you that was kind of like holding yourself back or kind of complacent. So maybe there was a vibe where they were into you and you would kind of, you didn't do anything to move the relationship forward for some of you. Like maybe you didn't ask them out or you didn't text them or you didn't really show your feelings as strongly. And I feel like this person, maybe that's why this relationship didn't happen, is it's kind of like both sides are too afraid to move forward and truly pour out their emotions. But on a deeper level, I feel like as much as this person is like, oh, it would have been awesome if they like kissed me one day, they also respect that. They kind of love your gentle side. They kind of love that maybe you're not fully self-assured and there is a shyness to you and there is this kind of innocence, I want to say, about you. Like you're not a jaded person, or you're not like, yeah, I've dated 50 million people and this is no big deal to me. Like I feel like they love the fact that they feel like you're not the kind of person who would just be able to rizz up anyone and just talk to anyone and just be able to date 15 different people over the course of a week. You feel very like you are in your own energy, kind of shy, or maybe you're just not the type to go out partying all the time. Maybe you're kind of a homebody or something about that. Or even if you are going out, maybe you're not the type to, and I hate to like, because I don't want to sound like I'm shaming anyone, but this is just kind of what this person is saying, is maybe you're not the type to go home with a random person. Maybe even if you're out partying, you're still going to be like, no, I don't want to talk to the creepy guy at the bar, and I'm just going to go home and fall asleep in my own bed and pet my cats or something, And I feel like they see that energy as very like gentle and sweet and kind of like you're self-protective of yourself. You're not the kind of person, I feel, who like makes yourself overly vulnerable or just has no boundaries up with people and will let anyone into their life. You feel very picky and selective. It's almost giving me like Roy Gilmore vibes. How she just seems so, I mean, that show is such a Mercury energy show, right? Like I think she seems very kind of Virgoan, and she just seems very like shy and kind of quiet and not overly loud, and not like she's trying to be the center of attention. She just naturally is. And yeah, it does make sense because Virgo, the Virgin, which I know there's a lot of like controversy around people talking about people's virginity, creepy people online fixating on people's virginity. So I'm not trying to do that, but I just mean, I think sometimes it can show just in general in life if you're picky with who you hang out with, or you're picky with who you sleep with, or who you kiss, or who you date, or who everyone in your life. You know what I mean? Every level of it. I think that's kind of what this person is drawn to, is like this idea that you're self-protective and they kind of can look after you, but also the feeling that like if you did move on and you did start dating someone, then it would be for real. It wouldn't just be like, oh, it was a one night stand, it didn't mean a thing to me. Like if you're actually hanging out with someone and dating someone, like it's probably real serious, and this person knows that. So I feel like it kind of, on one hand, they like the fact that you're selective, but on the other hand, they're also kind of terrified of the idea of you like posting someone on your socials, because then they'll know it's really serious and they kind of have this panic idea of you moving on. Let's get into some more cards. And if you're in a relationship with this person actively, I mean, this person just really, really loves you. I don't know what to say. They just are so into you. Let me get some songs for pile number 3, Spirit. Okay, so we got Diplomat, Sun, Vampire Weekend, I Want to Be Yours. Oh my God. See, I feel like that song is such a deep, emotional love song. And it's actually not written by the Arctic Monkeys. It's based off a poem, but they, put it to music. And it's a really beautiful song and very emotionally intense. And the poem is something like, yeah, I think I know a lot of the lyrics. It's like, I want to be your vacuum cleaner, breathe in your dust. I want to be your, um, I see, I don't know. Some of the words he's saying are like British, really British sounding. And even in his accent, I'm like, what is he saying? But basically saying that, basically saying, or it's like old school. I think the poem was written a long time ago, so sometimes they're describing like old appliances that it's like, what is that? um but I think basically saying, I want to be everything for you. I'll take whatever scrap of you I can. That line, I want to be your vacuum cleaner, breathe in your dust. Most people would not want to breathe in dust under any circumstance, let alone a person's dust. Like, I don't even know what that is. I guess like dead skin cells. But anyway, it doesn't sound super appetizing, right? But like when you're so in love with someone, it's like every part of them becomes attractive to you. And you just want to like basically crawl into their skin. It's reminding me too of that Fantagram song where she's like, open up my ribs and crawl inside, which sounds kind of creepy, but it's a sweet love song. And open up my sternum and, yeah, crawl inside. I don't know, I think I'm butchering that lyric. But the point is that when you really love someone, I feel like it's almost like you can never get close enough, right? Like you just want to be, every part of them is beautiful to you when you really love someone. I mean, most of the time, most people are not in relationships that's like real love. But when you really love someone, everything they do is like perfect. Everything they do is like, oh my God, amazing. Give it a medal. It's kind of like giving the vibe of, when Kris Jenner is like photographing Kim and she was saying, you're doing amazing, sweetie. When you're really in love with someone, they could be completely messing up, something up and doing a horrible job. And you'd be like, oh, give them a medal. Wow, they're so good. And I feel like that's kind of how this person feels towards you. It's like they'll scrape up any little tiny detail they can get about you. They will take any part of you. Anything you do, I feel like they find amazing. You might be like just staring off into space and they're looking at your side profile and being like, oh my God, the most beautiful woman in the history of time. Or maybe you are just like randomly saying, oh, I like this band or something. Yeah. And they go home and they look up all the music from this band and watch all the music videos and they research it obsessively, not even to tell you like, oh yeah, I know all about them, but just for the sake of like getting a little detail from you, a scrap from you. When you love someone that much that like everything they're into, you're like, yeah, no, I love Wheaties. Yeah, because they like Wheaties, so I like them too. And every time they buy Wheaties, they're thinking about like, I'm connected to pile 3 because they eat Wheaties every morning. It's like that obsessive, like, I'll take any part of you. I'm just so into you. And yeah, let me get some more song cards. Also, Someday, The Strokes, okay? Unchained Melody. I'm telling you, like, how many deep love songs. And I didn't even talk about Diplomat's Son, which I am going to talk about, but that song is all about these two guys who were in love in like college, and then they can't be together because I think it's set in the 80s, and obviously they're two men dating, so it's like off limits back then. And one's a diplomat son from, I guess, a country where probably that's even less tolerated, so they got to keep it. They kind of like, I think, hook up one night, but then nothing happened, like that, it's like over, and it's kind of like, let's forget about it and let's pretend that didn't happen and let's kind of suppress our feelings. But then the ending, I think, is so iconic to that song because I love the ending. And it's like, but then down by the river, there's a car all black with diplomatic plates. And it gives me chills. I just got chills saying that. And so it's such a vivid imagery song. I always think of DC because it's a diplomat, and like the Potomac River, but it could be in New York as well in winter. I don't know. I just get the most vivid mind, like when New York outside the UN. But I always get, because that's also near a river, but I always get the most vivid image of like winter, dead trees, and someone waiting in the car with diplomatic plates, which if you've been in DC, you've probably seen. And they're very distinctive. And the thing is it's like, even though they've moved on, even though they pretended to each other that, it was a one night thing or whatever, and they're both kind of like living their separate lives and college is over and nothing really happened with it, the guy is still thinking of the other guy and still, I guess, following him, which is kind of creepy. But you know, out of love. I hope that doesn't sound like a stalker, or I'm a stalker and I'm justifying stalking, but you know, I feel like he, you know, he wants to know what he's doing. He's still thinking of him so intensely. And it's a feeling, it's I guess indicative of how love doesn't really go away. You know, I think sometimes people think like, oh, distance, well, a year passed, whatever. But really, love is always there. Even on the astral plane, you know, when I do like mediumship readings, maybe someone got in a fight with someone and they never made up before they passed, but there's always the love and you can feel the love. And mostly on the other side, they don't care about that stuff because they're like, the love was what mattered. So it's like when someone's asking about like, oh, I'm stressed because, you know, we fought and then they passed away later, recently after the fighting, and so we never made up, and it's like they could not care less about that. The only time they care about that is because when they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want this person thinking about that, I don't want them feeling guilty, I know it's on their mind. But all that to say is that like love is such a powerful thing. It's like the most powerful thing, and it can definitely last after death, can certainly last after a breakup. And so I feel like that song, you know, just even the idea of like waiting outside of someone's apartment or workplace or whatever he's waiting by to see them in the car, like think about being there all day long waiting for someone just to get a glimpse of them, having your driver sit there and wait, and you're like doing what, reading or something, but you've got your eyes peeled because you don't want to miss seeing this person. The level of like devotion that takes, you know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, it's such a great evocative song of how a feeling or a love or an emotion just doesn't go away, even if there is an attempt to suppress it or an attempt to like put it out of your mind. Yeah, and I feel like with this person, you know, they're just kind of saying that um their feelings for you are just as strong. And I feel like there is this hope that you guys can get back together, that you're not going to move on, that you're not going to just be like, okay, well, that was great and I'm dating someone else now. I feel like that would really bother this person, the idea of you being with someone else. We also got Wildflower, Beach House. There's a lot of vibes here of this person having like this deep, because Beach House does such excuse me, sorry, I'm still getting over a little bit of illness, but anyway, Wildflower, Beach House has such deep, evocative, like highly emotional, kind of psychedelic, dreamy songs, and I feel like there's such an astral plane vibe to that, you know, there's such a feeling of connecting with someone in that space that's not physical, in the space that's not necessarily just verbal or anything like that, but is much deeper than that and is much more intense and emotional. And also what's interesting is a lot of these are like indie bands. So we got Vampire Weekend, Arctic Monkeys, The Strokes, Beach House. Again, I don't know if this, because musical taste has been coming up as a topic throughout this reading, someone trying to impress the other person with their musical taste or being nervous about not having an impressive musical taste. So I don't know if someone here has like a cooler musical taste and this person is acknowledging that, or both of you guys have cool taste in music, or this person is just kind of that artistic type that doesn't just listen to like top 40 but might get really into deep cuts and really get in their feelings and listen to highly romantic songs or listen to like indie music. I don't know, but it's really an interesting pattern. Yeah, and I think with, again, with Someday, I do feel like this person has the intention to come back to you in the future. I feel like they, in their mind, they're like, yeah, we will get back together. So let me just shuffle these cards. And then let's pull some tarot. I already shuffled them, but just getting one final one in. Okay, so we got the Queen of Wands reversed. And that's so interesting because that's what, and wow, and the Three of Cups reversed. Oh my gosh. And you know, this is not a reverse deck. I'm not pulling it reverse. It's upright. Oh my gosh. And as I show the bottom of the deck, the Two of Cups, that is crazy. Oh my God. And the Lovers. Oh my God, I feel like this is just insane because all of these apply. Like, this is so wild. I don't often look at the bottom of the deck. Sometimes I do, but it's not like a regular part of my readings. And to have all these cards just come off the bat that sum up this vibe so well is just nuts. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so let's start with the Queen of Wands, the first one I pulled. So again, what I was mentioning earlier in the reading, if you're not that kind of Queen of Wands is very sexually confident. She's very powerful. She's very she can be a little bit wild, you know, she's going to do what she wants and she's kind of willful. And of all the cards, of all the tarot cards, tarot queen cards, I would definitely say she's the closest we have to like a party girl. You know, she's wild and willful and she's going to do what she wants. And it's also a very physically oriented energy. It's about, well, I mean, in the Rider-Waite deck, for example, like her legs are open, and there's kind of a vibe of her being more sexually available. Of course, it doesn't always have to, you want to use your tarot, you know, intuitively and go with like what's coming to my mind. But with you guys, again, I really, if you're like, I am so not that way and I am kind of reserved and I am kind of shy, and maybe you were even insecure about that, like maybe you were like, yeah, like, but you know, all the other girls at school are like super hot and they all walk around in like crop tops and tiny shorts, and I don't like my body that much, so I kind of hide. Or you know, maybe like everyone else is out partying and I'm just like this homebody and I'm a loser or a nerd or something. Just know that this person loves that about you. This person finds that very attractive. They don't want that. They like everything about you, and that probably adds to your mystique. I hate to do like an not like other girls like type of energy, but I do feel like that's, this person likes the fact also with the Three of Cups reverse, if you're not a party owl, if they might think of you as different from that. Even if you are in that scene and you're actually like, well, no, I do go out every weekend and I do party. Maybe this person feels like you don't fit into that, or that's not really you, or they just know that like even if you're going out with your friends to the nightclub, you're not going to be the one going home with the bartender just because he winked at you, you know what I mean? And that you're very like independent minded, or there's something about you that's kind of like elusive, hard to get a hold of, that this person really, really likes. Then of course this little craziness with so many deep love cards. The Two of Cups shows an emotional soul connection, a connection on the astral plane. And with the Lovers, that can definitely be a past life connection. I mean, these are the two major, biggest romance cards by far. So I mean, what more do you need to know? This person may think of you as a soulmate. They may think of you as their life partner. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised for some of you guys if you're still with this person, because it doesn't feel like they think of you as just like, oh yeah, they're an ex and you know, we broke up. It feels like it's still very active in their mind and they still definitely care quite a bit about you. And also with the Empress, which I had to read as well because it just fits this vibe so perfectly, is they think of you as so stunningly beautiful. I can't emphasize enough how much they are attracted to you, how much they are just amazed by your energy, think of you as beautiful, think of you as kind of like a goddess, and just feel lucky to know you as well. Like I feel like for them, they're like, I can't believe I got lucky enough to be with pile 2, or excuse me, pile 3. I can't believe that like this is my twin flame. I can't believe that this is the person that I get to be around, when literally everything they do is so perfect. I'm hearing that song, everything they do, everything you do is magic, by The Police. And it's like, I feel like anything you could do, even the way you like blow your nose, they probably find attractive, you know? Let me get just like one more song, since we ended up pulling so much from the bottom of the deck. I mean, one more tarot card. The Nine of Wands. Okay, so but they are attracted to you, that's for sure. But I feel like they have this kind of like your mind vibe. You know what I mean? Like they don't like the idea of you being that way with other people, but they like the idea of you in a romantic sexual sense, but they're kind of like, no, that's limited for me. I don't want other people to be around this. And I think they think of you as, like I said, self-protective to a certain extent, or that they wouldn't expect you to be like sleeping around with a lot of people, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, what's mainly coming through is just this overwhelming sense of love and to a certain extent, destiny. I don't feel like, I really would not be surprised if a lot of you guys are still with this person, or this isn't like a major ending that happened. I feel like they're just so fond of you. They're just very curious, obsessed with you. They just want to know everything they can about you. If they could like crawl into your skin, they probably would. So yeah, this person feels really strongly, and we've gotten cards like that throughout this reading, so it just proves how intense their emotions are when it comes to you. So I hope this resonated. Pile 3, let me know if it did in the comments. Let me know if you feel this energy from this person. If you're still together with them or you're broken up, I would love to know what's going on here. So let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate with you, and make sure to subscribe and turn the those notifications on, hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my readings, then head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about your shadow side and how to alchemize it. So that's a great one for some self-development. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings about love, relationships, spirituality, career, money, relocation, so many different topics. And you guys suggest new ones and then we vote on them all the time. So if you want to join us over on Patreon, head to the link underneath the timestamps and the comments and the description. And I would absolutely love to see you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you can really ask me about whatever you'd like within reason, of course, but it's your time to use how you see fit. So if you want to get that reading with me, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye. Hey Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So let's start out with your oracle cards. You guys got Magic Prayer, Talisman, Heal the Ouch, and Field of Dreams. So right off the bat with this Talisman card, your person is acknowledging that if they were the ones to end things or to not contact you in a certain way, or if they were the one that kind of dropped the ball with this connection, that it's almost like they need some time and space to do things. You know, I feel like they are doing a lot of self inner work and trying to grow. We also got Heal the Ouch. So for them, this may be something that has to do with trauma. It may have to do with past life trauma even. Sometimes we're working through things so deep in our unconscious and we're making very seemingly crazy decisions. You know, we're randomly deciding to travel to a place and it's because we lived there in a past life, or we're, you know, quitting our job and living in a van, and that's because in a past lifetime we just had the same job and we had to work this super boring existence, and in this lifetime we've committed to, like, I am not repeating that mistake. I'm not going to be chained to this salary and I'm going to live my life for me. And so a lot of this may be unconscious, or like I said, from past lives or even current life trauma. But I feel like your person is just asking for kind of like understanding or patience, or just kind of being apologetic about, like, listen, I have to do this for me. I had to work on myself in some way. This could be your energy as well that they're kind of acknowledging and being understanding of. It could be that you have had to, like, if you were the one who kind of ran away from this connection, it could be that you're like working on yourself and this person's just being like, I see it, I understand what's going on, but there's someone in this connection who had to kind of take a step back, and it feels like they are having to do a lot of inner work. And I feel like this person just wants you to know that, like, it's almost like it's not because of you, it's not a lack of interest in you, it's not that they don't think you're good enough or they're not interested or they're, you know, not that drawn to you, but a lot of it is just like, I had to do this for myself, I have to work on this. This could even be this person dealing with a lot of like life realities, almost like family stuff. You know how sometimes someone will just have family drama going on and they'll have, you know, their parents are getting a divorce and they have to like look after their little siblings, or they're just not in a good financial place and they have to give all their attention to their finances. But it almost feels like there are some not so fun things going on in this person's life that they kind of have to take care of and deal with. And I don't feel like it's, they want you to know it's no indicator of you. It's not like, well, I don't care about pile 4, so I'm just gonna stop contacting them. It feels like they are doing a lot of work, but I wouldn't be surprised too if this person's in a bit of a runner energy. Like, it's giving me runner chaser vibes. Like, it's giving me a vibe of this person just picking up and leaving and not contacting you or not being in touch, and you being like, what the F is going on? Like, I don't understand this. Why were you so into me and now I haven't heard from you? Why do I know that you care about me on the astral plane and I can feel the depth of the connection, but then when it comes to you actually reaching out, I don't get anything? And I feel like for you, there is this big sense of kind of being, yeah, treated badly, or kind of like, I can't believe that this person would act this way. I can't believe after the conversations we had, I can't believe after how deep everything got, that you would just end up cutting and running on me and just not even try to make things better, not even try to discuss things or talk about it, or let me know what's going on. Like, I don't know if some of you guys were kind of left in the dust or left in the lurch or surprised by this, but it does feel like this person, they're not so good at like explaining themselves. And this is where I feel like their higher self is coming through, just to be like apologetic and be like, listen, I'm sorry for their behavior. Like, they're not exactly acting out of their best, highest interest. I think a lot of times when people do have trauma, it tends to manifest in being very unconscious. Like, it's almost like a panic button goes off. Sometimes when someone has relationship attachment issues and someone starts getting close, they just feel it's like an inner smoke alarm going off. It's like a panic, like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta leave. Or someone's getting too close and they're afraid they're going to abandon them, and they have avoidant or anxious attachment. They might like get super clingy, and a lot of it is not something where they're consciously thinking through like, oh, I'm going to smother this person. I'm going to be so clingy that they have to panic and leave the relationship, or I'm going to be so avoidant. I'm going to stop responding because I'm afraid of love and I don't feel I deserve it. So let me just, ghost them and stop texting them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something you're going to be thinking through. It's going to be something that feels like someone running for their life and just being terrified, and I feel like it's almost like the connection with you felt so real, felt so intense, it felt so overwhelming for them that they were like, I have to run away from this, because I don't feel like they felt like they were ready. I'm also hearing this person never envisioned or imagined being in a relationship with someone like you, and not in a bad way, but like, I don't feel like they ever thought they would get love. I don't feel like they ever felt like they truly deserved love. I feel like this person always imagined that they would be kind of like a lone wolf, or just like, yeah, this person can get married, good for them, but it's never going to happen for me. I'm too independent, or I'm too messed up, and it's just not going to happen, and that's fine. I feel like this person kind of resigned themselves to that, and then you came in and kind of shook everything up, and I don't feel like this person was ready for that. I don't feel like they were kind of wanting that. Like, I don't feel like this is a person who imagined themselves like deep, super involved with someone and just wanting to like curl up inside them and just know them so well. I feel like this person kind of was like, I'm just going to be by myself, and I'm just going to always do my own thing, and I'm self-reliant, and I'm kind of a loner. Or it's bringing to my mind that song by Taylor Swift, Renegade, which is kind of about loving someone who just kind of pushes you away, or someone who sabotages, or someone who is so independent and is kind of like, no, I'm good. Like, not someone who's desperate for a relationship by any means. And I feel like, this person just always thought that they were going to kind of stand alone in life. And then I feel like you came in and saw them for who they were. And it was a very transformative, healing experience for this person. But at the same time, it kind of scared the heck out of them. And it definitely made them panic and go into a little bit of, let me run away from this type energy. And I feel like there was a lot of unanswered questions on your end. Like, you had a lot of things that you probably wanted to say to this person, or you wanted to know from them, or you wanted to ask them about, and you never felt like you could. You never felt like you could sit down with them and be like, let's put it all on the table. Because I feel like this person was in such a panicked, running energy that you felt like if you even broached the topic, or you were like, hey, I know you like me, like, what are you feeling? That this person would have just like been like, what are you talking about? And maybe even like downplayed it, or been like, that's not true, or whatever. Because I feel like there's a lot of this person not even being very self-aware, not even really integrating their true deep sense of self and knowledge, and more being in an energy of, how can I run from this? How can I get away with this? How can I just pretend like none of this is happening? So for you, I feel like there has been a sense of abandonment. Like, it's like, how could someone that I was so close to, how was someone who I felt this deep of a connection to, just kind of not do anything about it? Just kind of leave me in the lurch and leave me in the dust. And I feel like you need to know that this person, to me, I'm not gonna lie, they still feel like they're in a bit of an unconscious energy. It doesn't really feel to me like they have worked through this and they have alchemized it and they've come out on the other side and been like, okay, this was so great that this triggered my traumas. It made me realize I need to work on myself. I need to be better about relationships and be more open. I don't feel like they're at that point yet. I feel like they're still in the energy of like, oh gosh, I'm not gonna sign up for this. Oh no, I'm gonna do my own thing. It's kind of reminding me, I'm reading this book right now, Where the Crawdads Sing, which was like a really big book, and I just felt I was like, well, I need a new book to read. Let me read this. But anyway, I got to the part of the book where they describe like the dad's history and how because he's like a heavy drinker in the book, and they said all these details about how his family had money and then they ran out of money, and then he was in like World War II, I think, and how he got PTSD from that, and his leg was like severely damaged. And then you're like, oh, okay, so that makes sense, you know? But the thing about that character is like, he's never aware of it. He's never like, hey, let me sit down and tell you that this is why I drink every night. And let me sit down and come to you with respect and be honest about what I'm going through and my fear and the fact that whenever I hear a loud noise, I'm brought back to like the war in Germany, you know, and instead he just kind of drinks and gets mad and runs off and is super irresponsible. And a lot of people who are dealing with trauma do stuff like that, you know. They might have inner demons that they have to work through. And I feel like for them, for this person, their higher self is kind of coming through to be like, listen, they're sorry. And they might not even be capable of working through this at this time. Like, I feel like that character, the reason why it's kind of so tragic is, you know, like maybe he does love his kids and it does seem like he loves his wife and he's super upset when he like gets a letter from her and stuff. But the thing is that for him, he can't express any of that because there's too much pain buried on top of it, you know? And I feel like for this person, a lot of that is like this unconscious drive. A lot of it is just them not really having the tools to be like honest with you about this is what's going on. I have a lot on my plate. I'm so sorry that I can't be what I know my higher self would want me to be. I know that my astral plane self, yes, feels this super deep connection with you and wants to make things work, but my actual human self is just not capable of that. And this person may visit you in dreams. With this Field of Dreams card, it may be something where they think of you quite a lot, and when they're actually on the astral plane or in that relaxed place of sleep is when they're able to access you. So there may be whiplash on your end with kind of being like, okay, so in real life, you don't text me and you kind of act like, you know, I never mattered to you, but then in the astral realm, I can feel your presence. I can feel your energy. So what the heck is going on? This is so bizarre. And I feel like, again, it's like this person has a lot of walls up and a lot of defenses up when it comes to their human self. They have a lot of kind of copes and a persona that they're trying to come across as. But then in the astral realm, that's where they can be more vulnerable and truly let their guard down. Let me get some song cards for pile number 4. So we want to get some songs for pile 4 of how this person is feeling. Now That I Found You, Carly Rae Jepsen. Because I do feel that this was a very life-changing event for them, like actually coming across you, because that song is all about, you know, now that I found you, my life is so different. And I feel like this person has that, like, in a way you have encouraged them to work on themselves. You have encouraged them to realize some of their flaws. They might not be consciously willing to admit that, but I also feel like that's kind of how a trigger works. Like, it's kind of like pressing a bruise, and you might not know why the person did it or who did it, but you can feel that pain, you know? And so even though it's hard to deal with that, and we might even react by being like, oh my God, why would you press that bruise? Ugh, and get mad at the person, it also is going to encourage us of like, maybe I should put a bandage on this. Maybe I need to fix this. Maybe I need to address this, you know? And I feel that with this person, even though there may have been mixed feelings from them at one point, and they might have even resented you or been like, whatever, like downplayed the relationship, it wasn't that serious or something. But I feel like for you, they also were like, you know what, I do need to change, because if I can bungle this, if I can take this connection that we had and try to ruin it, then there's something wrong with me, you know? And so this can be a huge gift for them, is it can encourage them to really look into themselves and be like, I need to fix this, I need to address this. Maybe my whole life I've had relationship issues, I've had fear of commitment, but in the past I never really cared to change it because it was with people I didn't really respect that much, didn't really care about that much. But now that I've done it with pile number 4, I know I'm messed up, because it's funny, because when someone does have like those relationship issues, a lot of times they'll blame it on the other person, right? They'll be like, well, I didn't want to be in a relationship with that person anyway because they're not that great. But when you're with someone that you really actually respect the heck out of and get along with, and it's an easy vibe and it's an instant connection, then you can't really just pin that on them. You can't just find an excuse as easily. So I do feel like you have inspired this person to work on themselves. And some of you guys might have a past life connection with this person. You might have dealt with them in other lifetimes, and this is why this connection on the astral plane is so potent, because I do feel like, I don't know, this connection seems to me like it primarily takes place on the astral realm. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like, is like there's so much dialogue happening on the astral plane, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it's a no contact, like radio silent in the actual physical realm. So I feel like for you, that's just been very confusing. Like, what is going on? Does this person even care? I know it's true in my heart, but then I also feel like I don't get that validation in the physical realm. But yeah, I think there is this very everlasting, deep connection that goes on between you guys. Let's get some more cards for pile number 4. It's too late, Carol King. Wow. And that definitely tunes into some of this depressive energy that I feel like this person has, where it's almost like I'm hearing in my mind, I just heard leave me alone. So for some people, they could literally be genuinely asking you to leave them alone. And of course, we always want to respect consent. So take what resonates and leave the rest. But for others, I almost feel like, again, it's that runner energy. Or it could just be that this person is just not ready for this. They might genuinely not be ready or capable of maintaining this relationship. And it's kind of bringing to my mind of those people, like I said, the guy from Where the Crawdads Sing, how he, I think just eventually just leaves. I'm not really doing like a lot of spoilers, by the way. You can totally still read the book if you haven't read it, because I'm still at the very beginning. So like, trust me, this is like super, I mean, it's a little into the book, but it's not like I'm spoiling any major plots at all. So yeah, I feel like he eventually leaves and she's left alone. And it's kind of like, I can't handle this. I can't do this. And I think sometimes when someone feels so incompetent or they feel so out of their depth, they feel like they can't even do a good job. Like I feel like for him, for that guy who left in the book, that's a major reason, is there's so much shame and there's so much sense of like, she'd be better off without me. And there's probably some truth to that in the book, of just him being like a super abusive father versus her doing things on her own. And for you, I'm not saying this person is abusive, obviously not, but I'm just saying that there might be a part of them that's like, they're better off without me. Or like, yeah, you may think you like me, you may think you want me, but actually deep down, I wouldn't even be good for you. I'm horrible. I'm not a good person. I wouldn't be surprised if this person suffers from low self-esteem or something. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if they're sabotaging the relationship because they just feel like they're not good enough. They can't do it. Whatever you want from them, I can't give to you. Like you don't understand that I'm crazy, or I'm not good enough. I am a mess. I feel like there's a lot of that kind of, I appreciate that you see me in a positive light, but this person really feels like they have to like work on themselves, work on their self-image, go to a therapist or maybe a psychic or something that can do some deep past lifetime work for them. I don't know, Reiki healer, but I feel like they need to do that kind of inner dialogue, inner self work, because a lot of this has brought up their feelings of inadequacy and failure even. Like I feel like they do get down on themselves for kind of like failing you, so to speak. Like it's like, I can't believe I didn't make this work. I can't believe I didn't make this happen for pile 4. I can't believe that of all the people that I betrayed, that I actually betrayed the person who meant the most to me. And if I can do this to this relationship, if I can't make this relationship work, then how am I going to make any other relationship? Sorry guys, I had to take a little sip of water because I was about to cough, but if I can't make it work with them, how am I going to make it work in any other relationship? If I like this person as much as I do and I still bungled it, then something is wrong with me. And I feel like there's a lot of kind of inner lack of self-worth, inner feelings of inadequacy that has been brought out. So that might be another reason why this person is kind of running away. Let's get into your tarot though as well. Let's get some tarot cards for pile number 4 about how their person is feeling, what they're going through. So we got the Magician. So the Magician is kind of a counterpart to the High Priestess, and it's a spiritual card and more of a masculine one at that, although it is ruled by Mercury, which is androgynous. But so this person definitely maybe, again, like I've been saying, visiting you on the astral plane. And this is where I feel like there's mixed signals. There's kind of this sense of like, what are you doing? Because I can feel you connecting with me. I can feel you locking into my energy. I can feel you, texting me on the astral realm, but in the physical realm, you're not doing anything about it. You're not texting me. So what is going on here? With the Queen of Pentacles as well, they could see you as highly responsible, and that could be a good or a bad thing. I feel like, again, this person made a lot of excuses in past relationships. Maybe with their old partners, they would be like, oh, this person's irresponsible, or they're a mess, or they sabotage things. So, it's their fault and they did this. But with you, it's almost like you're so on point and you do everything so well that they don't have an excuse. They can't just dismiss it and write it off as like, oh yeah, pile number 4 messed up. Like, I feel like in a way, they might have even told themselves things like, oh, I want to find someone exactly like pile 4. I want to find someone who is sweet and loving and kind. And then they found it and then they ruined it. So there is that sense of kind of like pain of like, I can't believe I did this with pile 4, but also with the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like, again, they kind of put you on a pedestal, and that could be a good or a bad thing. They also sense that you are really there for them and you've helped them in some way, and they're very grateful for that. They sense that you have been kind of like a soft place to land, or you've been very understanding. You've helped them through some things, and I feel like that has meant a lot to them. The fact that they feel like they can turn to you on the astral plane, and even if you are mad at them, you will still kind of allow them access and be kind to them. I feel like that means a lot, because this person has felt very betrayed by a lot of different people in their life. They have felt like they didn't really have anyone who was genuinely loyal that they could turn to. And then I feel like they feel that you have been that kind of constant presence that is willing to really put yourself out there for them. We also got the Queen of Swords, which is another very highly powerful card, highly powerful divine feminine energy. And with the Queen of Swords, she's very well spoken. She's very good with communication. I feel like you have been very patient and gentle with this person while also holding their feet to the fire, showcasing them, showcasing the things they need to improve, talking to them about the things they need to work on. And so as much as this person, maybe they would have been able to charm over a Queen of Cups, or maybe over a Queen of Wands, kind of put on the razzle dazzle. But these are super intelligent cards and very like logical and very down to earth. And I feel like other people, they may have been able to kind of trick or use their charisma. And with you, it's like you really see through to their soul. You really see through to who this person is, and you understand them on such a deep level. And I feel like that scares this person, while at the same time being comforting to them. Like, it's nice to know that someone can know them this deeply, but it also kind of scares the heck out of them, and they don't know if they're quite ready for that level of connection with you. I also feel like this person, like I said, they're just kind of suffering from low self-esteem. We got the Five of Pentacles, which is a card of hardship, and it's also showing people that have literally kind of exiled themselves and are hanging out outside a church. So even though they're broke and they don't have a lot of money, most churches, even back in the day, they would offer things for the poor. They would maybe give them a night to sleep or a room to sleep for the night, and yet these people are staying outside the church. They're not even going in. So it's almost like when you sense that maybe this person could help me, or maybe I could get some assistance with this, but I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to stay outside here and kind of mire away in my misery and be stuck in this dysfunctional energy. So yeah, I feel like with this person, a lot of their silence towards you, it has so much more to do with them and not some to do with you, but a lot of it is just their own inner pain. A lot of it is their own inner issues. A lot of it is stuff that they really have needed to deal with for a long time, and were able to put on the back burner, were able to fool others with, and it feels like they can't fool you. But I do feel like their connection to you does mean a lot to them, and when their walls are down, when they're sleeping and they're not fighting against this anymore, and they're not in this kind of desperate energy trying to run, I do feel like that's when they can be honest, and that's when they come to you on the astral plane, possibly while you are dreaming or they're dreaming. But they spend a lot of their waking moments kind of trying to get away from this and trying to pretend like everything is fine. So yeah, I think that's what I have for you guys. Pile number 4, I really hope it resonated. If it did, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you do think this person's in a little bit of a runner energy, or if you don't, you can also let me know. I love to hear either way. Also, give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate with you, and make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my readings, head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about your shadow side and how to alchemize it, so that's a really great deep reading. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings about love, spirituality, career, relocation, so many different topics, and you guys suggest new ones and then we vote on them all the time, so it's super interactive. So if you want to sign up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. I would love to have you there. And if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you get to really ask me whatever question you want, within reason, of course, but the vast majority of questions are totally allowed, and it's really your time to use how you like and how you see fit. So if you want to get a reading with me, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. And yeah, thank you. Oh, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.